The last thing I want to do is add an adjustment layer to create a flickering effect for the entire composite. So we'll go up to the Layer pull-down menu, then select New, Adjustment Layer. On this adjustment layer, I'll right-click or control-click in the Effects Controls panel and add a color correction for levels. I'll open up the panel so we can see more of the controls for the histogram. In this effect, there's a stopwatch for the histogram. However, if I open up the parameters for the adjustment layer by typing E on the keyboard, then I twirl down levels to see the parameters. Here you can see the histogram, the output to black, and the clip output to white. And we can attempt to add an expression to our histogram. However, when you select histogram and either try to use the Alt or the Option key and click on the stopwatch, or come up to Animation and come down to Add Expression, you'll see that it's not possible. There are some parameters in After Effects which cannot be expressed. Histogram is one of them. Here, I can adjust the histogram, and the adjustment layer will apply it to the layers below. I can't modify the histogram over time with an expression, but what I can do is modify the transparency of my adjustment layer. And by modifying the transparency, I modify the value of the levels that are imparted on those layers below it. So let's do this. We'll select the adjustment layer, then select opacity by typing T on the keyboard. By sliding the value for opacity, we can see that modifying this value is going to change the effect that those levels have on those layers below it. I'll create a rapid flicker by adding a random expression to this opacity value. Again, holding down the Alt key or the Option key on a Mac, I'll click on the stopwatch and get the dialog box for the expression. Now I'll just type in random, then an open parentheses. If I finish this phrase with a closed parentheses, After Effects will choose a number between 0 and 1. If I accept this, I can see here in the value for the expression, the number is no less than 0, but no greater than 1. If I change the value between the parentheses in the random expression by modifying this to 50 and using Enter on the number pad, we'll see that the new number described by the expression is no less than 0, but no greater than 50. Because I want to create an opacity flicker that goes from 50% to 100%, I'll set an array. I'll type 50, then a comma, then 100. The first value in this array is 50. This describes the low end of the random number. The second part of the array is 100, and this describes the highest value. Opacity can't be more than 100%, so I don't need to go beyond 100. However, if I wanted to create a random value whose number was greater than 100, I would input that value here in the second part of the array. I'll click Enter on the number pad to accept that. And now as I scrub through the timeline, we can see that the number here is no less than 50 and no greater than 100. Now, although I'm not really changing the values of my histogram, I am changing the way that the levels are affecting our scene. By typing 0 on the number pad, we can see a quick RAM preview. Now, if we animate the knob, we can adjust all the different parameters that are expressed to the knob. We can also animate the level of the water by simply creating keyframes for our slider position.